Hello again and welcome to another edition of Ultimate Politics. I'm your host Wade Norris. With me today is the well-known blogger and social media expert, Tim Black. Tim, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guy? I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, We wanted to cover a few topics that have been trending with the Bernie Sanders campaign. We are going to have a lot more contests coming out, and as Paul Presby has said, a lot of these primaries and caucuses remaining have same-day voter registration.
Yeah.
And these are West and Midwest. What do you think that's going to do for Bernie?
Man, that's phenomenal. It's anything that allows people the freedom to be able to go that day, make their choice. I'm assuming that means you can cross the party line if you want. I'm all for that, and I think that's just going to only help Bernie. As you know, I was talking to Nico House. He was telling me about the different issues in North Carolina that he saw, and we did a video about that. Shout out to Nico. And I think, like I said, man, if it opens the coalition, if it allows people access, I'm all for it. I'm sure you are too.
I am. We're also focusing on Bernie's going to be the nominee.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
We're gonna get to California, and the game is going to change. The narrative's going to change, that's why I wanted to talk about who would be his vice president, who's going to be in his cabinet. You know, because we got to start focusing our attention on. It looks like the Trumpster, Donald Trump, and
yeah. Well, he does better.
Yeah.
He does better. He polls higher than Hillary against Trump. If Trump is the nominee, when people say, let's be pragmatic, let's go with Hillary because she can win, well, eventually media's going to have to start reporting it and calling it fair. They're going to have to start admitting that Bernie polls better, higher numbers, higher margins over Trump than Hillary does.
When you have someone like Donald Trump, who is, I mean, if you replace the word Muslim with Jew, this country would be saying Donald Trump is acting just like Adolf Hitler. I think Bernie is uniquely qualified, being the son of Jewish escapees from World War II Nazi Germany, Nazi Poland.
Yeah.
I think his message, he could totally hit back on Donald Trump's hateful message in a way that, I'm sorry, I just don't think Hillary Clinton will be able to take him on.
Of course not. Of course not. Not only that, I'm looking at the establishment ties. A lot of people who support Donald Trump, they're just so focused on the fact he's from the outside. They distrust politicians to the point where, you know what, I ignore all that. As long as he's not a part of this establishment, that's why I want him. And they really believe he's just doing an act. Like this is all an act.
Celebrity apprentice
thing. But I understand what you're saying, and hopefully I never have to make that decision. Hopefully Bernie wins, and it'll just be Bernie against Trump, and then, you know, that'll be out the way.
And I've been critical over the years. If you look at my writings, especially when it comes to free trade like NAFTA, and you know, have people on camera like former Majority Whip David Bonnier of Michigan talking about how NAFTA was the worst piece of legislation of Bill Clinton's tenure. People say to me, well, you're being mean to Hillary by pointing out these flaws in her policies. What do you think Donald Trump's going to do? I mean, he's going to come out with all kinds of innuendo. And
right. If
Bernie is saying things that are polite policy differences, what will Trump be doing? Trump
will be pounding that drum from seven days to Sunday, man. He's going to be talking negatively about her emails. This is for sure. He won't be saying, oh, we don't want to hear about your emails. Right. He's going to be making sure everyone hears about the emails. He may even bring out Monica Lewinsky. I don't put it past him using every trick he can. But here's the thing I wanted to touch on about voters.
Okay.
One of the things I want to point out is that Hillary is doing well in states mainly because early voting. And particularly in the South, she did so well because people voted for her. They didn't know who Bernie Sanders was.
He had no name recognition.
No name recognition. So if you got early voters voting before you even met the guy, before he even came to the South to talk to you, now they find out about the super predator line. Now they find out about, hey, this Welfare Reform Act pushed 1 million kids into poverty. But she always touts this Children's Defense Fund. And I'm not bashing her. Those are just facts. If I had similar facts about Bernie Sanders, I wouldn't be supporting him. But you can point out stylistic things about Bernie, but you won't find that he's ever been against same-sex marriage, that he ever took money from prisons, private prisons.
That's the big one.
These things are huge to me, and frankly, I don't think a lot of folks in the South knew. They weren't, they didn't have the information. So you take that early voting aspect, if you take that away, and I've been looking at articles, they say, well, when people are voting same day like you mentioned, Bernie does well. That's why that high turnout is so important. So, when the people show up that day, they know Bernie, they're voting for Bernie, and that's pulling us closer. And I think on the way out, these next few states, we're going to do very well.
Here's the thing people have got to remember. Every state where Bernie did not compete and did not put resources, Hillary won, specifically in the South, but turnout was up to 30% lower. And everywhere that Bernie participates and competes, like my home state of Colorado, Utah, Nebraska, Kansas, they break the turnout record. They've done it in every single contest where he competes. And when you have a person like Trump who's doing similar record-breaking turnouts for the Republicans, you got to ask yourself, who's going to bring the crowd?
Right.
Because this is going to be about big numbers on that voting day. And Trump has already proven he's breaking records. Hillary's proving that she's depressing turnout when she competes. Bernie's the only one that can do that on our side and win.
I agree. And one last thing I would say, Trump defeated Jeb Bush because people don't want to go back to the Bush days. I think he will do the same thing with the Clintons because people don't want to go back to the Clinton days. And that's an easy case to make when we talk about moving forward, not moving back.
Well, Tim, thanks for coming on the show.
No doubt, man.
Yeah. And this has been another edition of Ultimate Politics. I'm your host, Wade Norris, and this has been a special edition with a great journalist and Bernie supporter and advocate, Tim Black.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Come see me at IamTimBlack.com.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks.